an arrow in my hand. Hear the shadows follow me over the hills in the evergreen. Trade my soul for a chance to carry on into the wild.
Na 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 na. In case you're wondering. Hello, friends. Welcome to break numero dos of the weekend relay. I must know, how's everybody doing? Have you started anything for the weekend yet? Have you been busy? Have you been productive? Have you just been relaxing? Have you not been here yet at all, like some other people I know?
Well, to be fair, I was here yesterday, but today we took the children to see Inside Out 2, and we just got home a half hour-ish ago. So
yeah. We have friends here. We have an Anne. We love Anne. We have a Mars. We have a Slisa. It is indeed a 1 hour break. Thank you for answering, Mars. A break, struggling with concentration. And hello to Dolores. Hopefully we can get you just like a nice break, have a chit chat for about an hour, and then we'll probably end at about 10 till, because I am on the next stream, I should say. So we'll probably end about 10 till, but just have a little bit of a chill time. Lisa has deleted close to 10,000 emails in the last 2 days. I have so many questions. First question, why did you have emails?
She went through, like, in her words, an OCD thing. I think like a depressive OCD thing where like she couldn't delete anything because she was like, well, if I delete it, what if I needed to read that email or something? So she's like working through her email. She had like 30,000 something last night. So 10K is that's pretty good progress.
This is not a thing that I do. I empty mine every day.
I empty mine when I check it. I was in a good habit of checking it every day, including our 2 emails for the Storytell. Which, by the way, one of them said something on Canva changed. I haven't read that email yet, but we got an email about that. So
okay,
Canva's changed.
I guess I haven't. I don't do it every day because I don't always check it on Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, I check it pretty much every day. I get to inbox 0. I leave important things in the inbox, but they're red.
Yeah,
most
same.
things get sorted into a folder. I have like 20 folders per email, and things just get sorted. And then I occasionally go through the sorted files and delete things.
I need to do that with like my main email, but I've had my main email since I was like 16 or 17. And so there's like so much backlogged in there that I'm like, but then there's like also, like bill receipts and other things and stuff. So I'm like, I got to go through there and see what I need and what I don't need. But I'll like do a good chunk of it, and then I'll be like, I'm done. I'm done for a while.
Like a nut.
But I keep the inbox itself updated now. It's just my backlog is horrifying. My author email, though, that one's nice because that one's new, newish. So it doesn't have over a decade of baggage.
We have a crow call.
Oh!
Heat's really getting to me. I feel like I'm melting.
Oh, I feel you.
I am excruciatingly lucky that I live in a house with central air. So I'm not going to complain. It's hot outside.
Had to leave that house today.
I don't like it out there. I do have to go outside during the day, but not for very long. I don't work outside, so it's hot, but I'm going to try not to complain because a lot of people have it a lot worse.
Just works in a factory, and the air conditioning there cannot keep up with the machines.
I know multiple people that work in the restaurant industry, especially fast food, and their air conditionings have been down this week, like just completely down where it's doing nothing. And I'm like, you know how hot kitchens get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say for me, like I count myself very lucky because one, we do have central heat and air. The garage den does not, but it has its own little AC unit that looks like it might be as old as I am, but it functions very well. And but because of my chronic migraines, when I go outside, I just have to be outside for like 5 minutes and I am dead. I have been murdered for the rest of the day. So I'm grateful I don't have to go outside that often. But it also sucks because I love the outside. I love being outside. It just murders.
You just have to stay in this week. Shannon's keeping us up for watch time, but going to get dinner for the kiddo and hanging out with him before heading to bed. Early morning sprints for Shannon. Shannon very kindly took the 5 a.m. sprints, which I think is like 4 a.m. for her. So
yeah. Oh yeah, I'll be the second stream tomorrow, not the first one.
You are second tomorrow. Hello, Kite Ann. Hello, Eva and Jessica. Went from break to break. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Hello, Melanie and Celisa. Would love a progress update from y'all. My progress has been thusly.
Read you. Sorry.
I
was
went to
sticking her head in the litter box. I'm about to summon a child to take her out of this room.
Yeah. I went to work and then I came home and then I worked on video planning because I have some videos I need to film tonight, which is what I'll be doing during Julie's stream. And then I put a ham in the roaster on the counter because I got 8 of those when we butchered the hogs earlier this year. And I have 8 hams that I have to figure out what to do with. So I'm going to make breakfast sandwiches for the week and then make like potato, cheese, and ham soup either tonight or tomorrow. I'm just going to have like a good cooking day. That's pretty much where I'm at. Have you gotten anything accomplished, Sam?
Yesterday, yeah, I'm like slowly reading. I'm catching up on the books I need to read for the Year of Favorites Readathon because my May was just, so I'm like, I got quite a few books behind. I'm working through this Chunky Monkey right here. And yesterday I got more than my 120 goal. I'm debating if I'll like work on this or if I'll work on my whip this weekend though. So it's either going to be this, Save Her Soul, or yeah, just this or Save Her Soul. Drafting. I might go back and forth.
CB's going to probably call it a night after our stream because they're getting sleepy. Hello, Cool Gamer. Hello, Nicole. Lisa's done about 2 hours of work today, but deleted 10,000 emails this weekend and worked on my book. I also took a nap this morning. Excellent. Eva's only progress update is that she's eating chips. And I support that.
What kind?
Yeah, what flavor of chips? Mullen's hanging out for the break and then running off to bed as well.
It's a good wind down before bed.
Tentatively planning for November. I feel like I've been productive, but the numbers are not numbering. Mullen has caught up to the chapters I wanted to beta read today, done about 40 comments from my list of light edits for An Office Full of Monsters.
Nice.
Katie Ann may have taken a 3-hour nap and then steamrolled in, so a headache is taking me down, but I'm planning to work next stream.
I feel that, Katie.
Mullen also finished building her IKEA kitchen unit. I did see that earlier today.
Katie, I don't know if this will work for you. Prescription headache. Prescription pain meds that target headaches and stuff don't work for my migraine pain like at all. But for some pressure headaches, this generic brand headache relief from Walmart or Walgreens helps mine, and it also helps CB, who like prescription pain meds also don't help her. So I don't know if I've told you that before, but just
I don't know what magic is in this bottle that they don't put into prescription stuff.
Because all it is acetaminophen, aspirin, and caffeine. Like, that's literally it. But it works. Granted, I have a high, not tolerance. It's
Threshold?
yes. Also, resistance. I have a high resistance to medication as well. So I take 3 of these. The recommended dosage is 2, but I take 3 for them to work. But yeah, it's like they don't work for all of them. I've taken them enough and stuff. I can kind of tell if it's a type of migraine that those will help with, and if it's not. But like, that's the only thing that I found that even takes the edge off of like a pressure migraine. So
Nicole's been productive. Melanie's late to the party, but I can at least use the hour to determine my plan for the rest of the night. Excellent. Mars has several pages of notes on characters and plot points to show for my work, plus 2 failed character mood boards that made me angry because they didn't turn out the way they looked in my head.
that is
There.
unfortunate. I'm sorry.
I like it, Mullen. Mom her.
That's right.
Hello, Alice. Got lots of videos filmed and started a chapter in my serialized story. Might run away and watch the next episode of Dead Boy Detectives for a brain break. I watched Vampire Diaries before I went to bed last night, and I'm like right at the beginning of season 4. I'm having a great time. This is a rewatch for me.
That's is that the season where the originals come in?
It's the season after that, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's the season with the hunters, like the 5.
Okay.
We just got the first one of those.
Guess,
Yeah, it was close. Yeah.
I haven't seen years.
32,000 because I had an OCD issue with deleting, yes, which is not the sole reason, but a contributing factor. It's also old, so there's a lot of spam. That's fair. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I would pass away.
It's just I feel like it's one of those things where it's hard to describe your own like reaction to it without seeming like you're criticizing the other person, but you're genuinely not. It's just so outside of your realm of reality. It's hard to relate on a level.
I get anxious when there are things in my email like that, because then I'm worried I am missing something important. Not that I've deleted something that's important, but that I'm missing it.
Same, especially since, like I said, in my main email and stuff, that's where I get like all the school notifications and all of that. So that's where mine lies as well. But I just wanted to point out that I know, and I'm sure most people know, that like you meant no criticism or anything by it. It's just
Emails every day. Got 2,000 words for the day so far. Excellent, Kat. I deleted 10,444 emails. That is badass, honestly.
That number pleases me on an aesthetic level.
444. The feels like temp here in Cleveland is 94. This is the first time in 6 years I've had central AC, and I'm so grateful and soaking up every minute of it. Yeah, I don't know what my feels like is, but I'm sure it's similar because I'm in a similar location to you. Yeah, my feels like is 95. So gross. The funny part is, like, Mom comes here to get away from the heat in Florida this time of year, and it's actually cooler in Florida right now than it is in Ohio. So
where 92 feels like 97. So
Mars says we have one small AC in the bedroom that for some reason blows most of the air in the direction of my closet instead of the rest of the room, no matter which direction the vents are aimed. Well, you're gonna have to sleep in the closet.
Some gremlin level stuff right there. For those in Celsius, it's 33, feels like 37.
Yeah, our temperature all week has been around like 32 to 35 degrees Celsius. So
my weather app is like, is it raining now? Yes or no? I'm like, I don't think so. No.
Katie said they got a thunderstorm, so the temperature dropped to 20 degrees.
See, I love
That's what happened here on Monday.
Storms just don't love me.
Katie and Mars are close enough together that they should have both had the same thunderstorm.
I have a friend in Ohio, and somebody in my regular chat who lives like just south of me, and it's funny on Mondays and stuff when it's like, if it's a southbound storm, then it's like, oh, we got the storm in, and then Matt will be like, yeah, we got the storm yesterday, and then RP will be like, oh, damn it, that means we're getting it tomorrow. And then if it's a northbound storm, it's the other way, and it's like, keep your storms to yourself.
We do the same thing because there's so many of us through like Ohio and Pennsylvania. Stieg is tucked into bed and watching a break timer while I drift off to sleep. Well, we love you, Stieg. Sweet dreams. I'm gonna try.
I mean, you know who we are.
Yeah, I'm only 10 minutes behind you. It's fine.
He did it. 10 minutes isn't that bad.
Jessica got their nails done. They're shiny, and bought bedding for the new bed that was delivered this morning, as well as new bathroom stuff for us and the child. Excellent. Ritz toasted sour cream and onion chips.
Delicious.
Jennifer's having dinner, which I would like to have. Took a 4-hour nap earlier today to ward off a migraine. And Melanie second.
I don't know what black magic is in this. I suspect that some sort of witch is the one who produces these specifically. And it's not the actual ingredients that do anything, but the magic that she has imbued them with.
It's probably the caffeine with in combination with those things.
I think it has to be the percentages and stuff, right? Because like it
has to just be the right percentage.
Yeah, because the same stuff is in like regular pain reliever medication, but that doesn't work. I specifically have to have the generic brand one, and the red one also doesn't work, but is literally the same shit. So I don't know.
I have like I laugh about how like if I have a headache or just like a regular body ache, the only thing that ever works is Aleve. But specifically when I have my stomach pains that I have theorized are like gallstones or an issue with my gallbladder, the only thing that works on that is Tylenol. I'm like, I don't understand this magic. I don't understand why 2 different types of medication attack 2 different parts of my body, but I'm not going to complain because I figured out what works.
Well, I know that like depending on the pain relief, different ones are formulated for different things. Like ibuprofen is more formulated for inflammatory issues, which is why they're good for periods. But I also know like in general, I know so many people with periods who like they have to have that one specific medicine. No other medicine works for their period. And it's so weird.
Lisa has been here for all the streams, showing up for everything. I send Katie things that like I see on TikTok. I don't see things on TikTok because I don't have TikTok. It's things I see on Instagram. Like it'll be it'll be like an infomercial for something, and I send it to Katie, and I'm like, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but maybe I don't know.
Well, it's like as a fellow migrainer, I know that like a lot of people will suggest things, and it's like, oh, I've already tried that, or yeah, no, that's not going to work. So I try to be very careful with what I suggest. But like I said, it's me, CB, and like I forgot who else, one other person with migraines who like specifically it's that if prescription medication doesn't work, then generally this does. But if prescription medication does work for the person, then that doesn't. So, and like everyone's physiology is different. So I was just like, Katie's symptoms usually sound a lot like mine. So I'm hoping for Katie that will give her some relief.
Laura's doing all the babysitting today.
Yeah.
80 feels like 82.
If
Philly
you guys
is 96, but feels like 99.
no.
Ugh.
If y'all weren't there last night, I highly recommend going and watching Laura's stream. It was stream number 2, specifically after the first sprint, because they did this fairy thing for her nephew, and she explains it, and it's so fucking adorable. For some like real good, heartwarming dopamine and serotonin in your day. Go watch that.
Why does it feel like 100? I don't want to be there.
Well, that's why we're not there.
I don't want to be there. Why is the weather app asking you? Shouldn't it be telling you what it's doing? Isn't that what it's for?
I guess it wanted to like double check. It wanted to make sure it was being accurate. No.
Katie,
yes?
you're in Harrisburg? You're in Harrisburg? I know where that is. I've been there. Also, Kite Ann. I'm gonna be in your state next month. Remind me to talk to you about it. Usually get Katie's weather a few hours later. Yeah. Hotter than a cold day in Hades in Texas.
Sounds accurate.
What if it was hotter than a hot day in Hades? Last Sunday, my sister and I went to boba tea after church, and I asked for a shot of liquid caffeine in my drink. My eyes cleared and my headache went away.
I got a drink at like I was trying this drink. It was some sort of banana chocolate thing, but they also like had a lot of espresso shots in it because I wanted to get like the largest size, and they were like, "This is gonna be 8 shots of espresso," and I'm like, "That's fine. Maybe my headache will go away." It did. My headache went away. So, but I did not feel wired, or however they felt that they feared I would feel.
CB, when you say you had to cut orange out of your diet, do you mean the color orange or orange the food, like the fruit orange? Because I know like some people
assume they mean the fruit because certain fruits have certain sugars that can trigger a migraine. But also just cutting the color orange out is possible because certain colors can affect migraines.
Yeah.
Certainly like green.
Dye colors, red is really bad. Yeah, orange color, orange flavor, and the fruit. Okay.
Oh, all of them. Okay.
You got all of the above. Yeah, I used to work with a lady who couldn't have like a specific, it wasn't red dye 40, which I think is the most common red dye allergy. It was a different red dye number. But she couldn't have them because it triggered migraines for her. So that's why I was wondering if it was like the dye color or just the fruit in general.
Yeah, I get you. CB also said that coffee is a major migraine trigger. I will say that like one of the weird things about migraines is that you can like look up a list of migraine triggers, and when it comes to the dietary ones, it's like 50-50 whether it's going to trigger a migraine or if it will soothe a migraine. And so the only like way to figure it out is just trial and error. As you try to figure out, do I get flare-ups when I ingest this or not? It's a fun time.
Yeah. I don't
Like
know
chocolate.
whose idea of fun time it is, but we'll go with that. Katie Ann eyeballed me. I will be in Harrisburg next month.
It sounds
Just-
like she doesn't want to put the details on
Just-
live, though.
Just saying. That's where I'll be. I mean, I don't care. I do care because I'm going to visit Julie and Amber, and I don't think people need to know where they live. That's rude. It's rude to tell people where other people live.
They're and it is also illegal in some instances, called doxing.
Yes, I don't want to dox my besties. That would be bad. Normal medicine doesn't work well for me. I have to take more than recommended, but I have one prescription pill that works. I save that for really bad days. That, I mean, also a thing that happens.
Yeah, because you can build up an immunity to your medication too, and then that sucks.
Pretty much my migraine triggers are just visual triggers. Is pretty much the only thing I have because I don't have chronic migraines, thankfully. I just have it's either because I've been reading a physical book for too long. For some reason, the act of doing this.
It strains your eyes, and then that fucks up your brain.
Yeah. It's usually what causes my migraine is just visual reading.
Thankfully, I've never had a migraine triggered from reading a physical book, which is why for the longest time I could not actually read e-readers very well. And then Open Dyslexia became a font, and that helped a lot.
Yeah.
And now reading physical books is such a struggle.
Yeah.
Because my eyes are used to being spoiled. They're like, we haven't trained for this in a while, ma'am.
I haven't had to do this in a long time.
I have a parakeet. It looks like
Yeah. My work cat is no longer my work cat. He went to go live with one of the guys from work. His daughter is 6.
Oh, he's got a good home.
Yeah, his daughter is 6, and she continuously was like, "Can I take that cat home with me?" For 6 months, and finally we were like, "Yeah, sure. Just your dad said it's fine. Take him home with you." So he doesn't have to sit by himself on the weekends anymore. He gets a friend. So.
Well, you know that it's not just a passing thing too. She stuck with it for 6 months.
Oh yeah, every time she'd come in, she'd be like, "Can I take that cat home with me?" Oh, caffeine helps get rid of migraines. It is some people it causes migraines, some people it helps them get rid of the migraines. Everything is so weird.
I astounded one of my coworkers at a convention because they never knew anybody with migraines before, and I had a migraine, but it was time to go to sleep, and I asked my boss, I was like, "Can I buy me a cup of coffee so that oh no, I left my wallet at the hotel, and I was like, hey, can I use the card to buy a cup of coffee so that I can sleep, and I'll pay you back?" And he's like, "Just buy yourself coffee." But they were like, "You want a cup of coffee so you can sleep?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my head is pounding. If I try to go to sleep like this, I'm not going to sleep. But if I have the coffee, it'll help my head, and then I'll be able to sleep." And they were just like, "That's not how caffeine works." And I'm like, "Oh, you neurotypical baby, you."
Yeah. It doesn't matter how much caffeine I have or when I have it, I can sleep.
So to the person who complimented my shirt, I now need to share this story, Kat. So my daughter recently got into Yu Yu Hakusho, and I worked 2 conventions in a row. Well, the first convention, I got her Yu Yu Hakusho Volume 1, the manga, because like I said, she got really into the anime. Well, then I was like, heavy mom guilt, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm going to work another convention immediately." And she goes, "It's okay, just get me more Yu Yu Hakusho." And I was like, "Oh, I see how it is." So
fine, I guess.
And then today she saw this shirt and she's like, "That's a Yu Yu Hakusho shirt." And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "You're not going to grow out of that one, are you?" And I was like, "Hopefully not." Because I grew 2 to 3 sizes over the past 4 or so years in different ways. And so the children have been getting a lot of my extra small shirts. So they've got a lot of Zelda and some other fandom shirts now. And so my daughter was just really open. I was like, "Nope, this is the new one."
This one is staying. Dun, dun, dun. I know you're only there for a week to take care of your aunt's pets, but yeah, we can chitty chat. We can meet up and hang out and be friends. And it is on your side of the state, as Katie did mention. It's a little under 2 hours away from Philly.
Nope.
Yeah, we're all going to be like in a similar area, and I already have plans to meet up with Leandra because she's about an hour away.
Ooh, fun times.
So yeah, it's there's so many people in Pennsylvania and Ohio. We should just have like a Penhio
A
book
Penhio
lovers meetup
convention.
once a year or something. I don't know.
We should try to organize a Storytellers Hearth like meetup. Try to figure out, unfortunately for everybody outside the States, a location in the States that's like has the majority of people. And then see if we can like just organize a meetup.
Maybe. Drink coffee an hour before bed, still fall asleep.
It's actually been proven that like if you're aneurotypical, caffeine affects your brain differently. Surprise, surprise.
Oh yeah, I forgot that Mars doesn't drive.
That would make it difficult.
That does make it more complicated, just a smidge. Yes, a Penhio retreat. Penhio.
Or it could just be like a writing or a writer Authortube. I forgot what term people are going by at the moment. Meetup where like you could try to organize it by area. So then it's like the European meetup, the Northeastern USA meetup, which that would be Penhio. Some of us Tennesseans could probably do Penhio as well.
I want you to know there is a high-speed train in America. It is unfortunately goes from Orlando in Florida to Miami in Florida, and that is the only one that I know of that exists.
We had Tina in CB, not the CB in chat, but my CB. They visited us at the end of May, and we're like driving down this road. Now there is a train track on this road, but in all the years I have lived here, there has never been a train on this track, right? It's just there. Well, we're like trying to drive to dinner, and the train lights come down, and we're like, what? And we're like sitting there joking that just for them the train exists, only to find out no, they were just testing it to make sure that it still functioned. There was still, in fact, no train, and I'm like, the fuck?
Last week, our garbage didn't get picked up at work. We have a bi-weekly pickup. And so we called this week and we're like, yo, our dumpster's full. Can we get a trash pickup? Because you didn't come last week. And they were like, well, we couldn't get on your lot. And I'm like, well, that's not my fault. Our building is right next to a train track. And there was a train sitting on the railroad tracks for 3 hours. And because we're like right next to a paper plant, there was like 40 semi trucks blocking our driveway for 3 hours. Like, can you just come pick up my trash? We're 3 blocks from the dump site. Like, you drive by 20 times a day. Would you just pick up my trash? Holy vey. Joy's contribution to the conversation. I was wondering if it was you or the dog. Ghost Train. Another story idea.
I did make Spirited Away train jokes on the continued track. Yeah, just 20.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all fun and games. and
Till it's smelly.
it's all good in the hood. I don't know. My brain has left the building, as it is known to do when we do these. I just get to talking and then I forget that I'm talking and then I forget what I'm talking about. Has anybody read any good books lately while we're here and just hanging out? Let me know.
I've read Grave Witch. Have you read Grave Witch?
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Grave Witch, it's a series, and there is a... Is she a witch? I would assume so because it's Grave Witch. Yeah, she's a witch, and she is a detective who like solves supernatural mysteries and whatnot. And in the first book, she's trying to figure out why a bunch of women are being murdered. And there is a romantic subplot in it, and I greatly enjoyed the romantic subplot. Also, Death is like, she has multiple love interests, but it doesn't feel love triangle-y, if that makes sense. And like, one of the personifications of Death is one of her love interests, and I'm like, I'm so intrigued by this.
Let's see. Most overrated book? All of the books. CB listened to the first Hunger Games book on audio and DNF'd it.
There, I guess.
Jessica is still reading Lucian by Gray Bryan. Loving it. Hello, Jen. Welcome. I've been reading The House at the End of the World by Dean Koontz. Not my usual fiction, but it's really good. Kind of a whodunit mixed with survivalist themes.
Ooh, I like that.
Read Evocation by S.T. Gibson. Was pretty good. A Devil's Curse, Psychic Abilities, and a Thruple. Fun times.
Excuse, hold on. Pull that back up. I need to know how to spell it.
Evocation.
S-T. Okay, got it.
Nicole's reading The Princess Bride. We love that. That book came out the year I was born. No, the movie came out the year I was born.
Starless Sea is such a weird time.
The writing style is weirdly similar to mine, but with less commas, and the MC is like an alternate universe version of me.
Huh.
All right. Eva's reading Three Pennies, which is a mid-grade. Alice is reading Root Magic by Eden Royce, middle grade suspense book. Interesting. Also reading ACOTAR and got to the part of the story that I believe is what caused the initial hype around it, and I tried not to give in, but I adore it.
I will say, I recently read ACOTAR, and I don't think it's a bad book.
I'll be reading it next month. This month we're reading Air of Fire, and then next month we switch to the ACOTAR series, and I think we start swapping back and forth for the Mass Effect Readalong that I'm hosting. So
I will say that like for ACOTAR, from what I know, the original like hate and stuff that it got was like primarily because it was a YA. And I stand by that. I stand by the fact that it would be really bad as a YA, but Sarah J. Maas no longer markets it as a YA, and bookstores and libraries, they don't put it in YA anymore. And as an adult novel, it's fine. Like,
yeah.
So.
Well, it's...
I also think she is a better writer than the general criticism, like the people who hate on it. I think they're too harsh on her actual skill. At least for book one. I have heard from many of people that that book two is where ACOTAR starts to go down. But from book one.
Most people's favorite book of that series is book two. Like, book two is what sells that book. Because you get a new love interest in book two.
I disagree with that. He is the love interest in book one. Like, that's why I said she has more, like, because from the moment he's introduced, there's breadcrumbs, there's foreshadowing. Like, you know that that's going to be the end game love interest. Like, And like part of the thing is Tamlin. She's fucking scared of Tamlin the entire time. Like with Rhysand, she's not scared. She's not scared. She's never scared of him. And I'm like, well, this would be reason enough for me to ship one and not the other. So I think Sarah actually did a really good job foreshadowing who the end game love interest is.
But you have to remember that you're 34, 35. How old are you?
33.
33?
I'll be 34 in August, though.
I thought you were closer in age to me than that, but that's outside of the point. You're in your 30s. Most of the people who picked this up when they started reading it were in like their early 20s.
I don't think that would have changed anything for me. I think I still would have. Just because of the type of reader I've always been.
Yeah.
I will not claim to pick up on everything, but I have, since I was a teenager, been very good on picking up the romantic cues.
Also reading Dark Places by the same author of Gone Girl, but cannot remember their name, Karen Slaughter. Adult thriller, dark so far, but I'm early into it.
I will actually, sorry, I am going to be doing a thing on genre expectations and bending them and stuff, and so I've been thinking about that, and I think she actually used the genre expectation of a love interest and stuff to trick her audience. So I don't blame anybody who doesn't see it, but I was just saying she did lay the groundwork so that like on a reread you can see it.
Also, I lied. It was Gillian Flynn, not Karen Slaughter. Wrong person. Anywho, yeah, Gillian Flynn. And then my brain went, that's not right. Karen Slaughter writes those other books I can't read because they're too dark. It's okay, Melanie. You can come and hang out with us now and read more Mass Effect stuff. We're going to like the middle of next year. Yeah, something gets as big reaches. Well, okay, here's the hill that I will die on. And it's that in this industry, women are not allowed to write adult fantasy books.
Oh, yeah, no. I think that like a lot. This is why I didn't say all of the hate, but I was saying that specifically the hate about its target demographic being YA and not adult. I think that like it deserved that criticism, and that criticism actually made a change. But I agree with Jess that like ACOTAR, especially coming off the coattails of like the Twilight hate, and like a lot of the hate that those series got were because adult women wrote those series and then women liked it, and it's just anytime women like something it's gonna get shit on whether or not it deserves it.
Yeah, listen, Mala doesn't like it, Mars doesn't like it, I know Katie doesn't like it. I'm having a good time, so, but I've only read 3 books so far, and I'm not saying like it's life altering, world changing.
Oh no, it's not.
But to me, it's about the fact that it's
a silly good time.
Well, it's a silly good time, but it also is like a huge world with a lot of world building. And she does a lot of things as we are doing these read-alongs at the end of the live show. We've been talking about things that she did in these earlier books that are woven into plot points much later on in the series and also in other series. And again, I haven't read them yet, so I don't know all the things, but the girls all know that I'm okay with spoilers. Like the other 5 girls that are hosting this, they all know that I'm cool with spoilers. So
yeah, I watched so many analysis and deep dives on the series, and that was part of the reason. Already. Yeah, that's part of the reason when I saw it listed in the Year Favorites Readathon, I was like, okay, bet I'll put that as one of my picks that I'll read, because I'm like, it's a really good excuse to read it. And I'm like, I don't hate it. It's not going on my like I'm not gonna recommend it to other people, but I don't think it's a bad book, and I actually don't think it's a bad writer. And I was impressed with the amount of foreshadowing and breadcrumbs that she put in there. I was like, oh, hey. Like, yeah, this is my parakeet.
Hello, Bryce. Welcome in. We're having fun. I haven't read any of Avatar yet. I've read the first 2 books and the short stories of Throne of Glass. That's all I've got. My dog loves unseasoned chicken. Maybe he'd like Akatar. You guys are rough. What I read this month that I really enjoyed, for those of you who like adult romance, I read Role Playing by Kathy Yardley. That is a midlife romance. Like, the couple are in their late 40s, early 50s, and they are part of like a video game group that get together. She thinks that he's like in his 20s because it's a group of college kids that are playing this game. She just doesn't realize that this like 40-year-old man is also going and taking college classes. And he thinks that she's like 90 because her email was given to him by his mom, who said it was one of her friends from church. So they both think, like, she thinks, she's 50 and she thinks he's 20, and he's 50 and he thinks that she's 80. And so they don't realize how old they are until they meet in person.
Hold on real quick. To answer your question real quick, Bryce, we are a break stream, but we will be wrapping up soon. And then the next stream will have sprints to write or read, whatever you want to do. Okay, go ahead. Hi, Julie.
It'll be on Julie's channel.
Oh, it will be. Julie's hosting the next one. So
yep. Just
follow the playlist.
Can't say an shame in her writing, but I have indulged in watching Kari Can Read's recap of the books.
I love Carrie so much.
You know what? For me, it is like, this is why Katie and I both laugh about it, because to me, it is really much Last Mortal Origins video. It's very same. It's the same. Like, I like the Throne of Glass series because of the characters. I like the Shadowhunters world because of the characters. And so Katie likes Shadowhunters, but doesn't like Sarah J. Maas. So it's funny to me that like the things that I like about both books are the same, but Katie, who also likes the things that I like for the same reasons, doesn't like this. Reading is so subjective.
It's super
so subjective.
Yeah. There is, in my opinion, no objective
way
to look at a book. But Shadowhunters, I love and hate for its potential, because I've read City of Bones. One, why is it called that? They're in the City of Bones for like almost no time. I will never get over that. Second, it had so much potential and it did not fulfill it, in my opinion. But it wasn't terrible. So it was.
It's also her debut novel.
Yeah, that's the other thing to think about. Like, it's her first novel, therefore it's not going to be a masterpiece unless she was like practicing writing novels for.
Have you ever noticed that the people whose debut novel is a masterpiece, they very rarely ever write a second or third novel?
I was about to say.
Like, the people who we look at, people that we look at as like classics, who are like, I mean, there are definitely some who have a lot of books, but like a lot of people that we look at as like the classics of genres, or are books that are just like considered some of the best books of all time, those authors have 4 books or less. And then you have these authors that roll out with like 30 books. It's all about dollar bills, y'all. Dollar bills. How much can you sell? Okay.
I'll also say that, like, for me, I have 2 different scales that I judge books on. Books that I think are actually like really well written, and well, it's like a Venn diagram, right? There's books that I think are well written, books that are a fun, good time, and then the ones in the middle are my favorites. Well, sometimes, actually. Some of my favorites can, in fact, be written terribly, but...
If Cassie Clare wrote
it could just be the voice,
I'd like
then. Could be the voice.
Throne of Glass is the best reading experience I've ever had. See, it's so subjective.
I have a friend who said that they like Throne of Glass, and I might give it, since I don't hate her writing style, but that's big for me. If I don't like her writing style, it is really hard for me to get into it. But yeah. Also, I can hate the characters and I hate the story, but you give me some good breadcrumbs and some good things to figure out, I'll still be happy. I like knowing things. I like figuring them out. That makes me happy.
First off, this is wrong. Okay, just so we're both aware, this is not the basis of the story.
Right.
The basis of the story was that actually it was Draco and Jenny.
No, just that's what I thought, but apparently that's half. That's only half right. She combined the two, so it was both. But yeah, I too always thought that it was Draco and Hermione, but no, it's both. She combined the concepts.
Yes, ML Rio does have another book. They also have a novella coming out this year as well. They have a novella and a full-length novel supposed to be coming out in the next 12 months. So.
No, Melanie, we were talking about the inspo for Cassandra Clare.
Yeah. You can't ruin things for me.
See, Wallace, that's my goal too. However, I also know that being outspoken about that, I will be like, yeah, I just want to give people a good time. Hold on. I was like, I just want to give people a good time and like if they enjoy it and stuff. And if it's not like a literary masterpiece, oh well. But I've discovered that some like some readers that I've had kind of like take that to mean that I write terribly and I embrace it. And so they'll like criticize certain things in my writing or make certain assumptions about me in my writing. And I like somebody said that my characters were like flat and that they had like no layers or anything. And my critique partner got so pissed. So I was like, you know what? That's their problem then. If they want to like I had a point. I was going to say, just because my goal is for people to have a good time and I'm not stressing about my skill level does not mean I am unskilled. You feel me? So.
Unfortunately.
Somebody had a question for me, though. What was it?
Nicole wanted to know if you thought that Klaus and Cammie's love story is more mature than Klaus and Caroline's.
I don't know if I would call it more mature. Like Klaus is about the same level of maturity, and honestly, I find Caroline to be more mature than Cammie most of the time. But I don't need a love story to be mature or not. Like that's not why I would take Klaus and Cammie over Klaus and Caroline. But I do hate Caroline and Stefan, so there's that.
Don't we all? Weirdest out of left field thing they ever did in that series. Mars made Marta cry 3 times. In less than 200 pages.
Congrats to Mars. Sorry, Marta.
Yeah. Anywho, I must run away. We must end this party so that I can go hop onto the next party. We will be on Julie's channel. I agree. I also just hate Stefan. We will be, if you're following along with the playlist, then you'll be teleported there automatically. If you're not following along with the playlist and you want to come hang out with me and Julie and Amber, the playlist is linked down below. You can click on that and you can just hop right on over. It'll be a grand time. And yes, you must do more work. More work must be done. Okay. A wave bye to your friends. Say bye, friends.